you got, man? When the last time you won a Super Bowl, bro? Man, come on, man. When the last time you won a Super Bowl, Brody? You really think you finna win the NFC? Get your head beat in. You know what I'm saying? But anyways, man, I'm done talking to these dang whiners. You know what I'm saying? Whiners, gay. You know what I mean? But anyways, man, what's good, YouTube, man? It's your boy. Hey, matter of fact, what's your YouTube, man? I'll look at your YouTube later. How about that? See the satisfaction in your dang face. You hear about the whiners, gay. See the satisfaction. See the freaking sadness in your face. You know what I'm saying? Anyways, man, what's good, YouTube? It's your boy. Sorry, y'all had the ops in here. You know what I'm saying? What's good, YouTube, man? It's your boy, man, Jay Willie Silly, man. A.K.A. Mr. Take It Easy. Before you end up like busy, make sure y'all follow my Twitch, man. Subscribe to my second channel. Everything you need to know about your boy, Jay, it's in the description down below. Dang whiner fans, man. You know what I'm saying? But nah, man, this is a long time coming right here, man. It's a long time coming. We got 4 horrific, true Christmas horror stories. This will be the last video for tonight, man. So I appreciate everybody, man, for joining the dang Twitch stream. You know what I'm saying? I appreciate everybody for joining the dang Twitch stream, man. But Christmas is right around the corner. And y'all already know when we get old, man, you know, I really like last Christmas I got from my mom with some toothbrushes, some drawers. You know what I'm saying? Some toothbrushes, some drawers, some some shirts. I think I got this for Christmas, some shirts. You know, when you get older, man, Christmas really ain't, you know, I got a couple of things, you know what I'm saying, honest look, but you know, it's more about giving once you get older. You know, you really don't receive as much as you used to. You know what I'm saying? So yeah, this Christmas I don't really expect to get a lot. You know what I'm saying? I'm really probably gonna treat myself to breakfast. You know, go watch the new Avatar. You know what I'm saying? Really, I'm gonna buy me something for Christmas. How about that? It's time for me to treat myself for Christmas. You know, but I know I'll probably get a few things, but you know, yeah, just go buy some hot cocoa. You know what I'm saying? And watch some Polar Express, man. You know, some Christmas Carol, man. That'll be my Christmas for this year, man, you know? But 4 horrific true Christmas horror stories, man. Like I said, man, I got a hunch that it's gonna be a nice Christmas. I gotta do my thumbnail time. Christmas horror stories. I got a hunch that it's gonna be a nice Christmas this year. Yeah.
My name is Gregory, and this happened last December when I was home alone in my house for a whole week. My girlfriend had gone to stay with her parents for the holidays, and I stayed behind because of work. I live in a quiet neighborhood in a small town in upstate New York. The houses are pretty spaced out, and most of the people on my block go away for Christmas, so I basically had the whole street to myself.
Dang, boy, you had the whole street to yourself? What type of freaking neighborhood you live in? That boy say he had the whole block to himself, the whole block.
I liked the idea of the peace and quiet. I thought I would get a lot of rest and maybe catch up on some shows and just enjoy the coziness of the holidays for a bit. But what happened that week still lives rent-free in my head. It was on my second night alone. It was around 6:30 and already completely dark outside. It had been snowing lightly all day, and there was a white layer on my yard and driveway. I was in the kitchen making a simple dinner, just pasta and chicken. Usually my girlfriend is the one to cook our meals. I'm not much of a chef. I turned on the TV in the background to make the house feel less empty, because as happy as I was to have the place to myself for a bit, I wasn't used to it being so empty and quiet in here. While I was eating at the table, I heard something unusual. It really took me a second to figure out what it was. It sounded like singing. I muted the TV and listened. The sound was definitely coming from outside. The singing got a little clearer, and I realized the person was singing Jingle Bells. At first I thought maybe some neighborhood kids were playing around outside, but the voice didn't sound like a kid. It sounded like a grown man. I got up and walked toward the front door because that seemed like the direction it was coming from. The closer I got, the louder it got. By the time I reached the door, it sounded like the singing was coming from right on my front stoop. I felt a weird feeling in my stomach, but at that moment, I still thought maybe it was just a caroler. I opened the door, and standing in the glow of my porch light was a man around 35 years old. He wore no hat, and his coat looked too thin for the weather. But the strangest thing was that he was completely focused on singing Jingle Bells, staring down at my welcome mat like he wasn't even aware I opened the door.
Hey, look, you know what I'm saying? Hey, look, man. First of all, one thing about me, I ain't really to all the carolers. You know what I'm saying? Honestly, You know, it would have been more welcoming if you would have been caroling with more people. But you know, I'm not really a peaceful person, so I would have grabbed them up and said, you know, you better sing another song like a little good boy. You know what I'm saying? But one thing you're not gonna do is when I open my door, you're not going to acknowledge me when I open my dang door. That's the first thing right there. First thing, why did I open my door and you still singing jingle bells, jingle all the way? Why are you still singing jingle bells when I open my door and you're not acknowledging me? That would have been the first red flag right there. I ain't gonna lie, I would have hit him right in his jaw. Would have punched him right dead in his mouth. You know what I'm saying? Dead in his mouth right there. We would have knew something was going crazy because he's not acknowledging you, bro. He didn't even acknowledge that you opened the door. He's still singing jingle bells, jingle bells. You feel me? So I would have had to jangle-line, jangle-line, jangle-line.
I remember forcing a little smile because I didn't really know what else to do. I'd never gotten Christmas carolers before. But even still, I never heard of a grown man doing it solo. It's supposed to be
a group thing, right? That's what I'm saying.
He didn't look dangerous. He actually just looked sort of confused or maybe slow. I even wondered if he was special needs or something because he didn't react to me being there. He just kept singing. When he finished the song, I expected him to say something, or at least leave. But he just took a breath and started singing Jingle Bells all over again from the beginning in the same slow, off-key tone.
Or slap him or something.
Now, he was looking up at me, making direct eye contact. I felt my smile drop because it was just weird now.
I would have pulled that gun out like this. Jingle bells, you finna die today, hey. If you don't get off my dang lawn, you finna die. You know what I'm saying? I would have put that thing up right there. You want to see some jingle bells, or you want to jingle bells? You know what I'm saying? I promise you, he would have caroled around somewhere. You want to jingle bells, you finna die today. You don't get off on my lawn, you gonna catch a bullet to the fire.
Stood there another minute, pretending to listen, even though it felt uncomfortable. I kept thinking he would stop after the second run. He didn't. He just looped the song. I checked my phone and realized almost 4 minutes had passed.
This man, 4 minutes passed. This man still singing Jingle Bells. And you still just standing there watching this man. So you telling me 4 minutes had passed and this man is still singing Jingle Bells? Gang, why you still standing right there looking at this man singing Jingle Bells? Your front of your door, gang. It's obviously something wrong with this little, what?
The song. I
Get
checked
that boy
my
right in the
phone and
face.
realized almost 4 minutes had passed while he sang Jingle Bells over and over. Finally, I decided it was enough. I told him thank you in a polite tone, and I slowly closed the door. I thought that would send him on his way, but once the door was closed, I still heard the singing. It continued without even slowing down. I walked back to the table and sat down trying to ignore it, but the longer it went on, the harder it was to ignore. The man didn't seem normal, and it bothered me that he was still right outside my door singing the same song. I wondered if maybe he was special needs and someone was out there with him, like by the street or something, but I didn't see anyone else out there. It made the whole house feel uncomfortable, like someone weird was standing too close to my personal space. I kept eating, but I couldn't focus on the food. It went on for my entire dinner. Finally, after about 10 minutes straight, the singing stopped. The sudden silence actually made me jump because I had gotten used to the singing. I got up slowly and walked back to the front door window. When I looked outside, I expected to see the man gone, but he was still there. He had moved. Now he was standing at the end of my driveway. He was just facing my house completely still. He was no longer singing, at least I couldn't hear anything from here. He was just standing there in the snow, staring at the door. Something about that felt worse than the singing. He looked like he was waiting. I opened the door a crack and told him he couldn't be here, that this was private property and he needed to leave. He didn't move at all. The whole thing was so unnatural. I finally told him that if he didn't leave, I would call the police. Then I shut the door again. I watched him for another minute from the window, but he didn't budge. I didn't want to actually call the cops because I thought maybe there was something mentally wrong with him and I didn't want to make things worse. So instead, I decided to just go upstairs, lock my bedroom door, and try to relax. I checked out the window upstairs before changing into bedclothes. The man was gone from the driveway. Thank God. I figured the threat worked. I got into bed, turned on a lamp, and started reading my book to wind down. Maybe 20 minutes went by when I heard something from behind the house. I knew instantly what it was, unfortunately. It was the same man singing Jingle Bells again, except now it was coming from my backyard. I jumped out of bed and went to the back window. When I looked down, not only was he directly inside of my backyard, he was already looking up at my window. The man was in my backyard standing in the snow directly below my bedroom window. He was looking straight up at me while he sang. I slid open the window and yelled at him that I was calling the police. The singing stopped instantly. He stood there in total silence for about 3 seconds. Then, he suddenly burst into a full sprint toward the back door on the lower level. The second he was out of my view, I heard the most insane sound I've ever heard in my life. He started screaming at the top of his lungs, not like a normal scream. It sounded like a death metal singer, but even more insane and deranged. It echoed across the yard and through the entire house.
Man, look, man, I'm not finna keep playing with this, man. Bro, look, man. You know what I'm saying? Hey, bro. One thing I understand, bro, is everything is he's human and everything can die. So that right there, bro, would have just like, okay, bro, cool, bro. You know what I'm saying? I know this house better than you know this house. All the lights would have been shut off, bro. And I'm telling you, I'm going to kill you, gang. You know what I'm saying? Like, that junk don't scare me, bro. I ain't gonna lie. All that little acting crazy junk and all that, that junk, like, that junk don't scare me. It probably scared me. Like, that's what I say. I got right here. Like, I'm right here, man. I'm right here, bro. I'm right here. You know what I'm saying? So that junk probably scared him. What you gonna do? Go get a bat or something? But when we got knocks up in the crib, when we got Glocks, and we got Smith and Wessons, and when we got 40s in the crib, that don't scare me. You know what I'm saying? You gonna die. That is the only thing in my mind playing. He gotta die. He gotta die. You gotta die. You feel me? And I'm not shooting for your leg, bro. I'm not shooting for your leg. Because at this point, I'm looking at it, okay, he trying to kill me. This man has been singing jingle bells, jingle all the way high. This man been singing jingle bells in my front door for the past 4 minutes. You know what I'm saying? Then after he done singing jingle bells, he went in the edge of my freaking driveway, staring at my freaking house for like 10 minutes. Then he go away for 20, like dang, 20 minutes. Then the man come back in my freaking backyard and start singing jingle bells again. Bro, at this point, bro, I'm angry, bro. You know what I'm saying? Ain't nobody scared of nothing, bro. You not immortal. You know, if you was immortal, then heck yeah, I'd be scared. Heck, you talking about? If you was immortal, if you like one of the monsters from From, have y'all ever watched From? Now, if you was like one of them monsters, I'm terrified. But bro, that ain't real. You a human being and you can die. So all that little screaming and all that, gang, hey, look, bro, I ain't worried about none of that. I'll probably be smiling, bro. I'm like, yes, this is the chance where I can finally use this mother. You know what I'm saying? This is the chance, man. I promise you, every single gun owner, bro, be hoping the mother ever break into the crib. I be hoping somebody break into this crib. I be hoping, gang. You know what I'm saying? Please, please come in here. Please, please come in here, bro. You know what I'm saying? I promise you, you're going to hear like 5 shots coming your way. I promise you. I promise to God. I am so dead serious, bro. You know what I'm saying? I be saying it all the time because I be so dead serious. I be wanting a bro. I don't be wanting it to happen, bro, but I'm just not the dude to play with, gang. I'm going to shoot something. I'm going to shoot, bro. I'm going to kill something. I'm a dude going to kill something, bro. I'm telling you. You feel me? So in this situation right here, I ain't even stressing the gang. I'm gonna lay the law down on you, bro, for real, gang. A little heavy metal don't matter to me, gang. I promise you that.
Then came the banging.
There you go. Oh, I ain't gonna lie to you. There you go. See, that right there? See, we don't do nothing right here. That banging, we don't do nothing right here. We stay in the crib. We don't freak out. We turn off all the lights. And me in this situation, gotta start thinking. Gotta start thinking. All right, think. Turn off all the lights. We not finna go out, open that door. I know you ain't finna go open that door, is you? I ain't finna go open that door. Let him bang, bang, bang. And when he come in, bang, bang, bang. You know what I'm saying? You never go out and look for anybody. I want to tell people that right now. We hear this right here?
Go across the yard and through the entire house.
All right.
Then came the banging. The back door shook.
Now you hear that right there? You don't ever go outside. You don't ever go open the door. Let them come to you. Because I know this house better than you. I know my house from top to bottom. You come in here as a death wish. I'm not finna go out to you. Keep banging, keep banging, keep banging. Bang harder, bang harder, bang harder.
The yard and through the entire house. Then
you said that movie will leave you, paranoid for a day or two. Hey, bro, I Am That Roman, bro. You not lying. They coming out with a season 4. Bro, I ain't gonna lie, bro. I was kind of scared to drive on the road. I thought a tree was finna come inside me. Oh, what the freak, bro? Hey, I ain't mean to say that right there. You know what I'm saying? I ain't mean to say that. Oh shit, what the freak? You know what I'm saying? No, I ain't mean to say that. But I thought a tree was gonna drop in the middle of the road. You know what I'm saying? Me watching From, I was paranoid. I thought a tree was finna drop, and I thought I was finna see some crows. I thought I was finna end up in a small town. You know what I'm saying? I thought I was finna end up in a small town. That movie had me paranoid, man, for at least for a day or two, man. You know what I'm saying? I'm not gonna lie to you, man. From gonna F you up. You feel me? From is gonna F you up. I promise you. Don't watch From, man. I'm trying to tell y'all this.
Not like a normal scream. It sounded like a death metal singer.
Hey, look. You know, the man, that Sackboy Nash, he's sweet though. You know, we ain't even talk about that no more. So he's sweet. So, you know, him being a sweet boy, you know, he's still trying to think about that junk. He a sweet little boy. So don't entertain. He's just a sweet little boy.
But even more,
I wish I could say like what I want to say, but you know, we just gonna let the sweet little boy have his moment. Keep thinking about a sweet boy.
Insane and deranged. It echoed across the yard and through the entire house. Then came the banging. The back door shook violently as he kicked it, slammed into it, and probably tried ripping the doorknob off. I felt the vibrations from the impacts in my upstairs bedroom.
Well, you better go handle him.
I realized this guy wasn't just weird. He was trying to get inside.
Dang.
I grabbed my phone and called 911 right away.
Bro, you talking about call some 911, but you better go get a knife or something. You ain't got knock. So it's clear as day you ain't got knock. It's clear as day. Man, this man trying to kill some. Talking about some 911, boy, you better get ready to defend. You heard this man banging on his door? This ain't a motherfucker. This ain't somebody that just, this man trying to kill some.
In my upstairs bedroom, I realized this guy wasn't just weird. He was trying to get inside. I grabbed my phone and called 911 right away. I begged them to hurry, telling them a man was trying to break in. I stayed on the line while holding a baseball bat with my other hand.
Baseball
I
bat.
into my bedroom closet and shut myself in. The operator told me to stay hidden. I could still hear the screams and bangs from downstairs, and every second felt like he was going to break through. Then, just as suddenly as they started, the bangs stopped. Everything went silent except for my breathing. I didn't know if he left or if he got inside. I stayed completely still in the closet until the police arrived. They checked the entire outside of the house and confirmed the back door was still locked. The operator said I could come out and meet them. When I stepped outside to greet them, I finally felt like I could breathe again. We walked around the backyard and saw deep footprints in the snow, showing exactly where he had stood while singing to me through the window and where he had run up to the back door. The footprints then led off into the woods behind my property. The cops went to follow the trail a little bit, but came back because it apparently wasn't worth going deep into the woods at night. They acted like it wasn't a big deal. They told me people act strange all the time, and that as long as I kept my doors locked, I should be fine.
See what I'm saying?
They didn't seem very interested in
Crazy.
finding him, and that bothered me a lot.
No
but
cap.
I was too shaken up to argue.
They don't care. They don't care, bro. The people don't care unless it happened to them, but they don't care. You know what I'm saying? They wouldn't be saying that if it happened to them. They don't care. They finna go back home and say they don't care. They only gonna care when you're murdered. You know what I'm saying? That's when people care. That's when they start caring, is when you're murdered. When you're murdered and all that, that's when they start investigating, not when you're dead. You know what I'm saying? They don't care. They don't care because they finna go back home cool. They ain't got to worry about no weird man singing jingle bells all the way. They ain't got to worry about this man banging up. They ain't got to worry about that. They going home. They cool.
After they left, the house felt horribly empty and cold. I kept every door and window locked and double-checked them over and over. At that point, I was over the alone time and just wanted my girlfriend back home. I went down to my parents' place for Christmas Eve and Christmas, thankfully. As far as that man, he never returned. At least, not that I know of.
They don't care. They going back home. They safe. They cool, bro. I'm not even calling the police.
This story is about my Christmas
what I'm
experience from about 10 years ago. I was 6 years old, since my birthday was in November, and I had just finished celebrating. Now we were getting ready for the holiday. My birthday celebration happened on the same day as the famous Odell Beckham Jr. catch. I lived with Cowboys fans, but I was a Giants fan.
Okay. When I'm trying to escape it, it brings me back in. Right? When I try to escape it, it brings me back in. Don't you ever, Mr. Nightmare, mention the cowgirls in your video again. Don't you ever do that. You know what I'm saying? I ain't gonna lie, my mood just, I'm in the Christmas spirit right now, but when you just brung up them ops, I got angry, gang. I don't think you understand how angry I just got. You know what I'm saying? So let's leave that alone, Mr. Nightmare. Let's leave that alone. You know, we're going into a different direction here. You know what I'm saying? Leave that alone. Let's not bring, I know you're telling a story, but just let's not talk about, say their name. You feel me? Let's leave that around. That's kind of personal a little bit. So let's leave that around. Let's leave the ops to the ops. You feel me?
Holiday. My birthday celebration happened on the same day as the famous Odell Beckham Jr. catch. I lived with Cowboys fans, but I was a Giants fan. I remember it being talked about for the rest of the night, and even during my birthday celebration. It was an eventful birthday week, and I'm surprised I remember all of this since I was only 6. I didn't understand football, but I understood that the catch was crazy, so I was just living in the moment and happy it was my birthday.
Were you a 6 when Odell Beckham caught that ball?
Like any other kid.
Youngin, it's a youngin right here.
For my birthday, I got tickets to the Mavs-Wizards NBA game on December 30th.
Why is he mentioning all the ops? Like, what's going on? Why is all the ops getting mentioned? The barbecues? Now the cowgirls? What, you live in Dallas or something? You a Texanair?
Years fan, but since we lived in DFU outside of Dallas,
I
knew a lot of Mavs fans.
Barbecue fan.
I was a small fan myself, so I was grateful. It was going to be my first NBA game. Christmas Day was 5 days before, and I got a brand new Odell Beckham Jr. jersey and a Mavericks shirt and sweatshirt as I was becoming a sports fan. I had a great Christmas, but one of my Christmas gifts was another Mavs game, which was on December 27th against the Oklahoma City Thunder. I was so excited to go to both games. The day came and we went to the game. The Mavs won a close one, something like 112 to 105. It was crazy to see an event like that in an NBA arena for the first time. We left the game and drove home, which was maybe 45 minutes away from the American Airlines Center. The next couple of days were normal, but I was excited to go back to that amazing stadium and atmosphere.
Man, can we stop talking about ops, man?
This time we went again. I didn't know it would be the last time I went for years. At the last game, we had nice seats, like 7 rows from the court and in the middle. But this time, we were maybe row 20 and in a corner area, so the experience was different. The game was going well, and I was enjoying it. The Mavs were killing them by like 20 to 30 points at halftime. Since I was a child, I wanted to roam around and get food and go to the bathroom by myself. But I was with my parents and only 6 years old. So my parents and I walked to get
that Nico?
We waited in line for maybe 20 minutes. My dad went to another restaurant inside the arena to get different food, and I stayed with my brother who was waiting in line to pay. As we talked to the worker, I walked away to throw out some of the candy they bought me before the game. I walked to a trash can maybe 30 feet away. As I got there, this tall white man came up to me and asked, "Hey, are you lost?" I shook my head and didn't say anything. He said he didn't see my parents around and told me, "Let's go look."
Bro, get your little weird stuff on talking about let's go look. The freak? Grab your hand and walk.
Didn't say anything. He said he didn't see my parents around and told me, "Let's go look," as he grabbed my hand and walked with me. I was just a kid, so I walked with him. He took me toward the nosebleeds and said we were going to the intercom so they could announce my name and find my parents. I said okay and kept walking. We got to the top and we waited for about 10 minutes. He waited until the coast was clear and then tried pushing me towards the emergency stairs or elevator. I don't remember exactly, but I do remember there was no one around. Then I remembered stranger danger, and the guilt and fear started sinking in. I realized I shouldn't go with this man. He didn't have any credentials. When he let go of my hand to go check his phone, I ran all the way back to the stands. As I ran, I saw him standing there with a small grin on his face.
Weird.
I couldn't find my parents, but
that's the Mavs fans for you, bro. You know what I'm saying? You ain't gonna hear none of this weird junk when it comes to Lake Show. You know what I'm saying? That's the Mavericks fans for y'all right there, bro. Weirdest freak, bro. You know what I'm saying? Look what they got going on in Dallas, man. Got predators there. You know what I'm saying? Real Mavericks fan. That you ain't gonna hear about that with the Lake Show. I'm telling y'all, bro, them Dallas people be on that weird junk, bro. Real talk. Look at this, bro. This going on in the Ops arena. This going on in the Ops arena. You feel me? Look at these Dallas fans, gang. You don't hear about that. When you ever heard about this going on in Lake Show? You feel me? This little weird barbecue. You know what I'm saying? This weird barbecue right here trying to take a kid. Weird old barbecues. Barbecues got predators on their side.
I just wanted to be somewhere safe. I found my brother, who hadn't told my parents he lost me because he didn't want to get in trouble. He asked if I was okay, and I said yes, choosing not to say anything. The game ended and the Mavs won, but I didn't care. I just wanted to go home. As we exited, I was quiet. When we got in the car, I was also quiet. My parents seemed confused that I didn't seem energetic, but I told them I was tired. As we drove home, I almost fell asleep, but then a loud honk screeched behind us. It was so loud I almost screamed. I turned around, and there he was, the same man driving a truck with maybe 3 other men inside. I couldn't tell who they were, just silhouettes. My parents yelled at them from our car when they pulled up next to us, but the men just stared. I wanted to say something so badly, but for some reason I didn't. When we got home, I went right to sleep and passed out fast. In the middle of the night, I woke up with chills. I noticed a light flashing at my window. I looked out, expecting something innocent, Santa Claus or something, but instead saw that man standing out there, shining a flashlight into my bedroom window. I screamed and ran to my parents' room, telling them someone was at my window as if it were a first-story window.
See this?
They rushed outside and searched for maybe 20 minutes. They didn't find anything, and since I was a kid, they didn't believe me. They said it must have been a shadow from a car, but
let's stop doing that, man.
On New Year's Eve, a couple days later, we were staying up until midnight to watch the ball drop. We were about 5 or 6 minutes away from midnight when the doorbell rang.
Bro, get your little weird stuff, man. It's like, bro, you can't believe, like, you got some really creep weirdos out here, bro. Like, bro, leave this little kid alone, you weirdo. You say he a creep? That's Mavericks fans for you, G. Look at this man. This man is following this little kid from the arena, bro. You know what I'm saying? From the arena. Like, bro is a real deal, like, creep, bro. This little creep man right here, bro. That's that Maverick junk, bro. You know what I'm saying? Who knew the ops was getting down like that? You know what I'm saying? He probably got some of the ops, like, watching, you know, shoot, he probably watching this video. You feel me? Who knew the ops get down like that right there, man? Shame on the ops.
I didn't pay attention until I heard the man's voice, and I was 100% sure it was him. I told my parents, but they didn't believe me. I told them at the game he brought me to the high level, and I ran away and escaped, but they still didn't believe me.
Bro, how you not believing your child, gang? You know what I'm saying? Like, bro, y'all parents be so weird too, bro. Like, bro, your child not lying, bro. Talking about you don't believe, like, bro, I'm telling you, bro, one thing I hate about when parents do try to make it seem like kids is so dumb. Bro, kids are way smarter than you think, bro. I'm thinking kids are stupid. Man, way smarter than what you think, bro. Ain't no dumb kid, bro. Stop thinking. You parents be thinking because he a kid, he don't know what the freak going on. How much you don't believe him, man. What are you making up this story for, bro? You know what I'm saying? He ain't never said it before. He talking about like what the freak?
He said it was just a man handing out lost dog flyers for his cousin's dog. The night went on, and I was fine. But then a year later, on New Year's Eve, there was a knock at my bedroom window. A year
later, and this man still creepy.
I had forgotten about the situation. I got up and looked, and there was a piece of paper on the window that said, "This New Year, you'll meet me again." I gave my parents the note, and they filed a report, but they never heard anything back. Every couple of years, I get terrified of New Year's Eve, thinking that man will come back. I told my parents I never want to go back to an NBA game, saying it wasn't my thing. But now I'm 16, and it scares me that the man knows where I live. I'm considering going to the Cavs vs. Mavs game on January 2nd or 3rd, which would be my first game since then, but I'm not sure. This experience scared me away from basketball and made me always close my curtains.
You ain't never heard about, yeah, LeBron fans weird, but you ain't never heard about no Lake Show. You ain't never heard about this. You know what I'm saying? You ain't never heard about the Lakers, you feel me? You know, like following a little kid, you know what I'm saying? This man came back a year later. That's how you know how creepy the ops is. This man came back a year later. This man forgot about the whole situation. You came back a year later. Or you telling me you was thinking about this boy, you little creep. This little creep was thinking about that man, think about this boy a whole year. Whole year then came by and you still coming back over? Man, creep. But you ain't never heard about LA Gang doing that. You ain't never heard about Lake Gang doing that. We ain't never did that. You know, LeBron fans weird, you know what I'm saying? That when it comes to basketball, man. You ain't never heard about LA Gang doing that.
I remember this night.
Lake Gang ain't never did that.
And even now, I think about how close my family came to
F the ops,
something really
man.
terrible.
Mavs K, you know that.
It was early December, and we decided to drive up north into the mountains to cut down a real
Goofy
Christmas
op
tree.
boys.
It was something my wife Marianne and I always wanted to do, and our 7-year-old son Andrew was excited about it too. The weather was cold and cloudy, and the sky had that heavy look where it feels like snow is always about to fall again. To us, that added to the Christmas vibe. The whole ride up the winding roads made me feel like a kid again. It was a while since I'd done something this unique and in the Christmas spirit, and having Andrew so excited about it just brought me back to my youth. When we finally reached the remote area Marianne found online, there were no other cars around in the parking area. There were a bunch of light posts scattered around, so we weren't in pitch black darkness if you were wondering. That's why we picked the place. Still, we did bring flashlights. We parked by a small, unmarked path that led deeper into the trees. There was a lot of snow on the ground still from the snowfall we got a few days earlier, and up this high, the snow took even longer to melt. Andrew jumped out of the car right away and started throwing snowballs at us, so I started throwing them back. We were here to have fun, so of course I was going to try to make it as memorable as possible for Andrew. I grabbed our flashlights and the axe that I planned to use to chop down a tree. We walked up the narrow path with snow crunching under our boots.
Something about this is
Andrew
creepy,
kept
bro.
running ahead, stopping to point at trees he
I don't like this. I don't like this scenery. I don't like this.
The deeper we went, the more the road behind us disappeared, and the only light came from the...
It's like creepy and, you know, I don't know. I'm getting mixed signals from this view. It's like I like it, but I don't like it at the same time. Mixed signals for sure.
Faint moon glowing behind the thick clouds. It was so quiet that I even asked Marianne and Andrew to stop for a second, just to really take it in. There was not a single sound, maybe a light breeze, that was it. To be honest, if I had been there alone, I'd have been slightly creeped out just off the silence and darkness alone.
And too dark, too silence, too much silence. So what's the title of this video? You'll see about it later, man.
Onto the trail. We had to utilize the flashlights we brought, all three of us. Andrew was having a lot of fun with the flashlight until the light from the parking lot was no longer visible, and it was now basically total darkness outside of the flashlights.
Oh, walking in the woods?
He started to get a little nervous, evidently, because he asked how far we were gonna go, and
I'm
he made
saying.
comments on the darkness. I kept feeling like someone was watching us, or like something was walking behind us, but every time I turned around, there was nothing but the empty snow path. About 10 minutes in, we finally found a spot where the trees were tall and full. Andrew ran around them in circles, looking for the best one. Marianne stayed closer to me and whispered that she wanted to pick a tree fast because she had a weird feeling too. I got exactly what she meant. This was a lot creepier than I had imagined. Right then, I heard soft crunching behind us. It wasn't any of us, nor was it an animal. It sounded like boots crunching the snow, but very slowly, sneaking-like. When I turned around, I saw a man in dark clothes, standing about 20 feet back on the path. He wasn't dressed for the weather. His hands were bare and red from the cold. His jacket looked more like a windbreaker. His face looked pale and stiff, like he'd been out in the cold for way too long. Marianne grabbed Andrew's arm to pull him closer. When the man noticed we were looking at him, he suddenly smiled in an off-putting way and stepped closer. He asked if we were looking for a Christmas tree. His voice breaking the already unsettling silence was uncomfortable. His voice was deep and kind of soft. Before I could say anything, Andrew answered yes, excited again, and I felt a jolt of panic because I didn't want this man knowing anything about us. Marianne quickly told him no, that we were just walking. The man stepped closer again, and the way he moved made every hair on my arm stand up.
I mean, bro, we not finna keep playing games with you standing closer, man. You better tell that man to stand the freak back, bro. Well, that's your woman, that's your kid, bro. Your kid don't know what's going on, bro. He innocent. He don't know what's going on. You know what I'm saying? But why you keep letting bro like come up to you, bro? You already know what you gotta do. You know what you gotta do. You know exactly what you gotta do.
He told us not to worry
we ain't going
because
for
he
none.
wasn't a park ranger. He said it like he could tell exactly why we lied, because admittedly, what we were doing was super illegal. I didn't want to talk to him at all. Something was wrong with him. He looked hungry or desperate or like he hadn't slept in days. I guess, for lack of a better word, he looked homeless. I told Marianne we should head back to the car, and she nodded, gripping Andrew's jacket. When we started walking past the man, he stood by, smiling and watching, giving slight nods as if to say goodbye as we walked. Andrew kept turning around, asking if the man was following, and we told him to stay facing forward. Every time I looked back, the man was a little bit closer than before, even though I didn't hear him speed up. I whispered to Marianne that when we reached the main road, we had to run to the car. She held Andrew's hand tighter and nodded without looking back. The man's steps stayed behind us the whole time, dragging a little like his boots were too big or too heavy. Once we got close enough to see the gap in the trees where the car was parked, I told them to go. Marianne lifted Andrew and ran as fast as she could. The only reason I felt even remotely safe was because of the axe in my hand, but I'm not a violent person and I've never had to resort to violence in my entire life. I turned around to block the path behind us for even just a second. The man had stopped walking and was just staring at me, and he put his hands up halfway, still smiling, and then he said, "I mean no harm. Why don't you get back to your truck now?" And I felt my heart skip a beat as he said this. He said truck, like he knew we came in a pickup truck. I replied back simply that we don't want any trouble. Then I turned and started hurrying back down to the lot. But halfway there, Marianne screamed my name, sounding panicked. Oh no, I thought.
Slice
When I
the
got
truck,
to the
slice
truck,
the tires.
she showed me that both right side tires were punctured. I didn't have time to examine it for long to realize it was him. I told Marianne to call 911 immediately, but she struggled to find service at first. She walked around the snowy lot for a bit until there was reception. She never strayed too far away. I had Andrew wait in the truck, who was now clearly concerned as he watched Marianne and I freaking out. He was old enough to know something bad was happening. Marianne seemed to be having a hard time on the phone, so I took it and explained our location and that we felt threatened by a random man in the woods who may have potentially been responsible for the tires. Given the potentially unstable individual in the vicinity and the fact that we had a child with us, police were taking this very seriously.
I mean, bro, you gotta understand, bro. You gotta understand, though, gang. You know what I'm saying? I mean, say you can drive on bad tires. They're in the snow. You know what I mean? And driving on bad tires is just dangerous, bro. And no telling how bad his tires were punctured. You know what I'm saying? But just driving in the snow is already dangerous by itself. Now imagine driving in the snow with punctured tires. That's basically suicide. You know what I'm saying? Honestly. So heck yeah, man. You know what I'm saying? Yeah, and it probably was too punctured, bro. You know what I'm saying? Honestly, bro. Probably was way too punctured, bro.
And told me to keep my family locked in the truck until police arrive, and that a tow truck will be sent as well. I was instructed to keep the operator on the line while we waited, but eventually the line started getting choppy, cutting out at moments because of the poor reception. Then Marianne suddenly screamed in my ear to look and pointed towards the tree line by the path we were on. There were multiple people standing just beyond the tree line. I counted at least 3. They looked like shadows from where we were, which made the sight even more terrifying. It was like we were being stalked and hunted. Then 2 of the people started walking closer.
You know what you gotta do?
Operator, and she said something that really made me uncomfortable. She asked if I had any kinds of weapons, and when I said I had the axe, she implied that if it came down to it, to use it to defend my family. By this point, Andrew was crying, and Marianne tried to calm him down.
What you gotta do.
I told the operator that 2 of the figures were still walking toward the truck. They weren't running or yelling or anything. They just walked very slowly, like they knew we weren't going anywhere. The third figure strangely disappeared, likely back deeper into the woods away from the light. The operator told me the police were close, but I had no idea if that meant 2 minutes or 10. I kept looking back and forth between the tree line and the road in the distance, praying to see flashing lights. I tried to talk to the operator again, but the call dropped. The second it cut off, everything felt 100 times worse. I locked the doors again, even though they were already locked. I kept my hand on the axe, gripping it so hard my knuckles hurt. As the two people were now within range of hearing them speak, we could hear them saying, "We're here to help," as they waved their hands in the air. We didn't recognize either of them to be that guy from earlier. "Do you think they're park rangers?" Marianne asked, and I said firmly, "Not a chance." But perhaps I said it too loud, because Andrew just started crying even more, which Marianne had to try extra hard to console him. These two people approaching were dressed similarly to that first guy, aka way underdressed, and their clothes looked worn out, almost dirty, and they didn't seem bothered by the cold at all. But then, seemingly randomly, the two of them turned around and started running back in the direction they had come from. We didn't know why just yet, but it was soon clear. Never have we been so ecstatic to hear the sound of police sirens. It was getting louder fast, and eventually we saw the flashing lights coming from down the road. Coming pretty fast, actually. The police SUV entered the lot with its spotlight on, and it instantly shined in our direction. I flashed my lights to try to get the cop in the car to see the men running back into the woods. At this point, though, they were already nearly gone. But their footprints weren't. Once the SUV was next to us, two officers jumped out immediately with flashlights drawn, and I got out to basically get on my knees thanking them. I pointed in the direction the men ran. I said they disappeared into the trees like they had rehearsed where to go. The police told us to stay inside the truck while they searched, and more units showed up within minutes. One officer stayed with us. Andrew was no longer scared, but rather once again excited at the commotion and the sight of police officers. After a long search, the police came back and told us what I already knew they were going to say. They didn't find anyone, just tracks in the snow that went deep into the woods and eventually spread out in different directions. They didn't know if the people lived somewhere out there or if they were part of some kind of camp deeper in the mountains. They said sometimes drifters or squatters stay hidden in remote areas during the winter. The tow truck eventually arrived, and the police stayed around us the entire time until our truck was loaded up. We had to sit in the back of a patrol car to stay warm while they finished everything. No one really said much. Marianne held Andrew in her lap, and I just stared out the window, watching the dark tree lines, half expecting to see someone standing there again. On the ride back home, none of us talked. It was like all of us were afraid that saying anything out loud would make it real again. We didn't try to cut down a Christmas tree ever again. We didn't even go back to that mountain area.
Y'all was trying to cut down a Christmas tree? Never did that, man. You know what I'm saying? We bought straight Christmas trees, man. Buying Christmas trees, man. You know what I'm saying? But doing something different, man, won't hurt. You know, sometimes doing something different is what's needed in this lifetime, you know what I'm saying? But nah, I know personally, for me, I never, go out in the cold and cut a Christmas tree. You know, it's just not that serious to me. I'm gonna just go ahead and buy that Christmas tree, you know what I'm saying? And that's gonna be the end of that, you feel me? But heck yeah, man, I'm glad y'all made it out of that situation safe though, man.
Even now, 10 years later.
But that's what I'm saying. That's why I say everybody need a freaking gun, man. That's why I'm saying everybody need a dang gun, man. You know what I'm saying? You need a dang gun. You feel me? Now, if you would have had a gun, you know how easier this situation would have been. You know what I'm saying? You having an axe, man. Them folks ain't taking you serious. You know, how you know them folks ain't packing tools? How you know they ain't packing beezies? You know what I'm saying? So all I'm saying is, man, is you going out somewhere in that remote area and like out here somewhere, having a gun is 10 times like you have to have a gun. It's mandatory. An axe ain't gonna save you out here, because what if I was like one of them, right? What if I was one of them crazy people and I got a gun? What you gonna do with the axe? And I got a whole gun. What you gonna do? You know what I'm saying? But if you got a gun, then you got so much more of a chance than an axe. Come on, man.
Refused to go anywhere near it. To this day, what scares me the most is the thought that they had been watching us long before we even noticed them. They saw us arrive in that parking lot because they knew to strand us by slashing my tires, and they were waiting for us to go deep enough into the trees so we wouldn't make it back to the truck. We were lucky we trusted our instincts enough and decided to leave for the truck almost right away. We were also lucky I was holding an axe, which may have dissuaded them from doing something crazy. I don't like thinking about how close we came to potentially never going home.
What you mean why going to the mountains, bro, when it's Christmas? I mean, for vacation. You know, you got people that go out for vacation all the time on Christmas. They ain't know they were going to go. They thought it was going to be like a regular, they thought it was going to be like a normal Christmas, just like any other Christmases, bro. You know what I'm saying? They just went out of town, went to the mountains, bro, for Christmas. You know, they ain't know that was going to happen to them. Just people just trying to, you know what I'm saying, be people. You just stumble across some bad people. That's just how it is, bro. But everybody, a lot of people go out of town for Christmas, bro.
I still think about
it's not
this
crazy that
one
they went to the
night when
mountains, bro,
I was
for
9
Christmas.
years old. It was a few days before Christmas. My parents both had things to do that night, and since I was almost 9, they felt okay leaving me home for a little bit. My mom had to run to the grocery store to get some stuff for Christmas dinner,
crazy.
And my dad was working late like he usually did in December. I was sitting on the couch watching a Christmas movie, probably,
Polar Express?
eating cookies by the fireplace and tree.
I know what I'm gonna do, man. I'm gonna turn on that Polar Express, man. You know what I'm saying? Christmas Carol. Gonna go up there Publix, you know what I'm saying, and get them little cookies, man. Y'all probably don't know them cookies with that icing on it, man. Get that right there, man. Buy some hot chocolate, man, with some whipped cream, man. Gotta go watch Avatar. You know, one thing that I'm gonna do though, you know, is I'm gonna buy some breakfast before Christmas die. Now you know, I'm gonna buy some food and I'm gonna buy some dang breakfast. You know what I'm saying? So December 22nd is when I'm gonna go Christmas shopping. I don't know about y'all, bro. So, like I said, bro, we know everything closed on Christmas, bro, other than the movies and Waffle House. You know what I'm saying? And I ain't going to Waffle House. I ain't gonna lie. I used to hate doing that. I used to like doing it, bro. You know what I mean? Like with my family, bro. I actually missed that. I ain't gonna lie. You know, we used to always go to Waffle House, bro, and go watch a movie, catch a movie, bro. You know what I'm saying? For Christmas. You know, it's the little things that you miss, bro. You know what I'm saying? The little things that you miss. You know, but that was just, you know, it was a good time. You know what I'm saying? Everybody being together. You know what I'm saying? And shoot, everybody just being together, man. You know, it's the little things you wish you would have cherished, man. You know what I mean? The little things, you feel me?
Outside, it was already dark, even though it was still relatively early. And I remember the Christmas lights flashing on the houses.
You know how y'all get older, man, and everybody just go their separate ways, you know what I mean?
Until the doorbell rang. The only reason this made me stop and look was because it was rather late and random for someone to ring the bell.
Them cookies look OD
My mom
good.
always told me never to answer the door when I was alone.
My sweet tooth is
Parents
bugging.
never ring the bell, obviously, since they have keys. I got up and walked to the door anyway because I wanted to look through the peephole.
Bruh, Polar Express never gets old, bruh. Like, I know everybody, bro, like, bruh, in the early 2000s, bruh, and that's what I'm saying, bro, y'all, bro. Oh, man, like, bro, I missed them times, bro. Like, in the early 2000s. If you're not early 2000s, kid, you understand what I'm saying? But, man, just being at school, bro, back then, during, like, Christmas, like on the way to Christmas break, bro. You know what I'm saying, bro? That jump was the best times, boy. I swear, bro. You know what I'm saying? Like, watching Polar Express, bro, in the classroom, drinking hot chocolate, bro. Just, for the Christmas spirit was different back then, bro. You know what I'm saying? Just, like, the school I went to, bro, used to be holly jolly, boy. They used to be going crazy, bro. You know, from Highlands to Webb was my favorite, bro. When Christmas came around, bro, it was just like, everybody used to bring things from home, bro, you know what I'm saying? And had a little Christmas party, bro. And it was just, I just wish I can go back to them times, man. You know, that was good times, man. Good times for sure, bro. You know, not having no homework, you know what I'm saying? It's like Christmas before, you know what I'm saying? Christmas for real, you know what I'm saying? You know, having Christmas at school with everybody and then, you know, getting ready for Christmas, you know, when you get back home, man, you know. But yeah, man, I missed them times, man, for sure, man. I ain't gonna lie. Good times,
boy. When I put my eye up to it, I saw there was a man standing on the porch wearing a Santa Claus suit.
Oh, shoot.
It was the full thing, too. The red
He's 9
coat,
years
the
old.
hat, the beard, everything. But he didn't look like a normal, friendly Santa. He wasn't holding anything besides what looked like a clipboard, and he was standing way too close to the door, like he was waiting for me to unlock it. I didn't know what to say at first, so I just kind of whispered, "Who is it?" The man moved his head a little closer to the door, like he was trying to see through the peephole or hear me better. And in that moment, he figured out right away that I was a kid. He did, I guess, what was his best Santa impression, as he said he was Santa and that he had gifts for me, and that I should open the door. At 9 years old, I wasn't stupid, and I didn't believe in Santa anymore.
See what I'm saying? See what I'm saying? You know? See what I'm saying? Kids not dumb, bro. Like, I know if I was 9 years old, I know I ain't opening that door. I wasn't a dumb kid, but that's what I'm saying, bro. You better believe your kids, man. And, oh, my God, I remember this story. Oh, my God. It was the most corniest and cringiest story ever, bro. And this little boy, this girl name was Trinity. You know, he had a little brother. Bro, I told this man that, because for me, I'm going to keep it real, I never believed in Santa Claus, like, ever in my life. Like, my parents, like, made it known. Like, my parents went with the BS, bro. Like, I'm not finna make my kid know that. Like, I don't know why you lie to your kid. You just lie to your kid. Why do you lie to your kid saying Santa Claus real? Like, stop lying to your kid, gang. Giving them false fantasies. Like, I don't know why parents lie to their kids. One thing I love about my parents, bro, is my parents never tried to hide real life from me. Like, my parents just always kept it real with me when I was a kid. And that's really why I turned out to be this way. Like, my parents never tried to instill fake Santa Claus in me. I've never believed in Santa Claus. I never believed in the Easter Bunny. I never believed in that junk, bro. When I used to lose a tooth, my parents used to let me know, okay, I'm putting $1 under your pillow. You know what I'm saying? My parents used to let me know, okay, what do you want for Christmas? And you, oh, what does Santa Claus do? My parents used to let me know they buying me gifts. Bro, but I was finna tell y'all this little story, man. I was at Highlands apartment, man, back in Alabama. So we was at the pool. You know what I'm saying? We had a little community pool. Y'all know the apartments got community pools and whatnot. You know what I'm saying? So, man, I don't know, man. We was all there, and I don't know, Santa Claus got brought up or something. I think Trinity started talking about Santa Claus and whatnot. You know what I'm saying? So, shoot, I said, man, Santa Claus ain't real. Man, her little brother just started overly crying. I'm talking about, boy, it was crazy, man. And I kept going. I'm like, man, Santa Claus ain't real. Somebody got to tell. Bro, this girl Trinity act like I was just the worst person in the world, boy. This little boy was crying, and I'm like, bro, you know me, I kind of liked it. I ain't gonna lie, when the little boy was crying, I kind of liked it, you know? If anything, I'm doing you a favor, little boy. I'm not the type of person to make me feel bad about something like that, bro. I'm like, bro, Trinity, like, I think Trinity, like, bro, I'm like, the girl Trinity was just acting, like, I'm like, bro, like, you was cringing me out. You gotta learn some way. I think he probably gonna remember me. You know what I'm saying? I know he gotta remember me. You know, how I figured out, Jay, how I figured out Santa Claus wasn't real is this dude named, he didn't know my name, so he probably gonna say, it was this black dude at the freaking pool, man, that told me Santa Claus wasn't real. Man, my heart was broken, dude. It was broken. He way older now. I know he probably like, he was in elementary school when I was in middle school. So he dead for, I think he in high school. He at least 11th grade now. You know what I'm saying? So if you watching this little boy, did you a favor. You know what I'm saying? Your mama and Trinity lying to you. I did you a favor, boy. I was finna say the N-word, boy. You know what I'm saying? I did you a favor, though. I ain't feel sorry for you on that day. I promise you I didn't. I meant to say Santa Claus went real. I meant to say it.
My parents taught me about strangers. I told them to go away and that I didn't need anything. And I tried to sound brave, but my voice cracked. The man
He told him to go away. That little boy was scared.
My parents taught me about strangers. I told them to go away and that I didn't need anything. And I tried to sound brave, but my voice cracked. The man went silent for a second, and then he asked me if I was home alone. As soon as he said that, I knew to walk away. I instantly felt stupid for even letting him know I was home. I didn't answer him. I stepped back from the door and walked fast to the living room because I suddenly felt too scared to stand near it. I sat on the couch and grabbed a pillow and stared at the TV like acting normal would make the fear go away. But then I heard the doorknob twist. He was testing if the door was locked. I wanted to scream for help, but nobody was home. I waited and hoped he would leave.
Like, imagine, like, being so weird you're preying on kids. That's what I'm saying, bro. Try to prey on my kid. I'm telling you, bro, I'm going to, like, bro, Like, bro, just, like, for you just knowing that it's people out there like this, bro, like, just preying on kids, like, you gotta be the most weird and creepiest, like, knowing you just preying on children. That junk is OD weird, bro. You know what I'm saying? That's what I'm saying. When I get a kid, bro, I'm the type of father, you're not holding my daughter. You're not holding my son, bro. I wish I would see my son in a random stranger hand. I wish I would see my daughter in random stranger hand. Look, bro, I'm the type of parent, bro. I'm the type of person, gang. I'm the type of person, when you come around me, you gonna get that vibe that I don't trust you. I'm not the type of person to fake smile with you. I'm not the type of person to try to get you to like me. When you come around me, bro, and that's for anybody watching, when you come around me, bro, you gonna know, like, oh, bro, this man ain't nothing like, he ain't really, no, like friendly. I'm not gonna say I'm friendly, but he really ain't friendly. I'm not gonna talk. I'm not a person that talks to strangers. I don't talk to strangers, literally at all. I'll probably, you say what's up, hit you with a fist bump or something, you know what I'm saying? But talking to you is not something I'm gonna do. You're gonna know I don't trust you. So when I have my baby, bro, I wish a stranger would ask to hold my baby, bro. I probably dang near slap the taste out your mouth. You know what I'm saying? I probably slap the living piss out your mouth. You know what I mean? But just knowing weirdos like this, man, right here, man, it kind of pisses me off.
A moment later, I heard another sound from the back of the house. It was the back doorknob twisting. It happened so fast after the front door that I bet he ran around the house to the back. That door was even weaker than the front one, and we almost never used it. I felt frozen in place, and all I could think about was that my house only had 2 doors and this man was trying both. I ran to the kitchen and grabbed the phone and dialed my mom's number. When she answered, I started talking really fast, trying not to cry. I told her someone was trying to get into the house and he was dressed like Santa. My mom got serious right away and told me she was coming home right now and that I should not open any doors no matter what. She told me to stay in the living room and keep the curtains closed. I sat on the floor behind the couch where I couldn't be seen from any windows, and I stayed completely still.
Smart kid. It's a smart kid, right here.
Small noises outside, like footsteps or light taps, just some forms of sounds indicating that someone was still there. Eventually, they stopped, and not long after, I heard a car pulling into our driveway, and I knew it was my mom because I recognized her squeaking brakes. I stayed where I was until I heard the front door unlock and slam open.
Squeaking brakes?
My mom came in breathing hard and holding 2 grocery bags. She locked the door behind her and yelled out for me, and I ran to her right away. She hugged me and then told me she had just seen a man dressed as Santa walking down our street. She said she slowed her car down when she saw him, and she yelled at him out the window asking what he was doing. The man told her he was going door to door asking for donations, but she didn't believe him for a second. She said he looked nervous and that he walked away fast when she started yelling. My mom told me she was proud of me for not opening the door and for calling her right away. She called the police and reported the man, and I'm sure police at the very least surveyed the area.
They're not doing nothing.
We never found out if he was arrested or if he just disappeared into the neighborhood. 2 neighbors did say, though, that the man knocked on their doors asking for donations, though they said it seemed like a scam. Regardless, that doesn't change the fact that he tried to get into our house, where he knew a little boy was home alone. I still think about that night every year around Christmas when I see Santa decorations.
Oh yeah, my kid gonna be so smart.
Being 9 years old and knowing that man on our porch was not Santa and that he wanted something else. I guess I was lucky the doors were locked and my mom got home when she did. What would have happened if that door was unlocked is terrifying to think about.
Thank you, ladies and gentlemen, man, for joining the freaking stream, man. You know what I'm saying? You know your boy Jay had to tune in for a scare reaction. You know what I'm saying? And I ain't gonna lie, I'm looking at the screen, and my screen seemed a lot clearer today. You know what I'm saying? But I think me dropping them B frames actually worked. You know what I'm saying? I think me dropping them B frames actually worked, bro. You know what I'm saying? You know, because I ain't lag again. You said don't let your children know you're going to be a Giants fan. Yeah, my children going to be a Giants fan. He going to know about all the ops. You know what I'm saying? Promise you that. He going to know about all the ops. He going to know about some barbecues. My kid going to be a big cowgirl skate. You know what I'm saying? I promise you that. He going to be Giants. He going to be same thing as daddy is. What he daddy rep, he going to rep. My son will not be a op. I promise you that. He ain't got a choice. My son ain't going to have no choice. You know what I'm saying? You feel me? Like I said, my son ain't going to have no choice. My son going to be a Giants, Crimson Tide, Lakers, you know what I'm saying, and Dodgers. Point blank period, and I'm going to let him know about all the ops. You feel me? My son going to come out the womb, Mavs, guy. It's going to be him before he get out the womb. Warriors, guy, cowgirl, guy. That's going to be his first words, I promise. You know what I'm saying? But yeah, man, I appreciate everybody, man, for joining the stream. And Mavs K, cowgirl.